In this video, we'll be discussing multiplication and division in second grade. The TEKS are 2.6a and 2.6b. In these TEKS, students will model, create, and describe contextual multiplication situations. For multiplication, they'll be putting equivalent groups of sets joined together, and then for division, they'll be using concrete objects separated into equivalent sets. Okay? So when we start talking about multiplication, students might be given a picture or a word problem or a scenario. Everything that we do with these multiplication and division will always have to do with some type of scenario or word problem. Then the students will never have to actually just solve 3 times 2 equals blank. The students are going to be describing things in terms of groups of, in equal groups. So if students are given a problem where Ms. Jackson wants to give 3 cookies to each of her 4 children, then we can have manipulatives such as these centimeter cubes, and the students can give 3 cookies to each of her 4 children, and they would use this picture, this model, in order to help them fill in. There are 4 groups of 3 equals 12, or we have 4 equal groups of 3, and that's how they can describe that contextual picture that they have that goes along with that word problem. Okay. The students can write the multiplication sentence, the 4 times 3 equals 12, but they're not worried about memorizing any type of fact. Students can also, if they're working on, they could do repeated addition as well to show how they solve that. So that's 4 groups of 3 equals 12, and they can work through that, those 2 representations of the groups that they created. For division, we want to start out the same way, using contextual situations for the students. We can start to look at the 3 parts to a multiplication or division problem. If we're working with a multiplication problem, the students are given the number of sides in each group, they're given the number of groups, and they're trying to figure the total amount. If it's division, then one of these is missing. We will always know the total amount, but we either are missing the number of groups, which is partitive division, or they're missing the size or the number in each group, and that is quotative or measurement division. So we can look at 2 different word problems, and the students are going to work everything the same way that they did with the multiplication, using concrete objects. 12 children want to ride a roller coaster. There are 4 roller coaster cars. How many children can sit in each car? So the students would model by getting out their 12. Let's do 4, 6, 8, 10. And here are the representation of the 12 students, and there's 4 roller coaster cars. So we could model by drawing out those 4 cars, and then the students can start placing the students, or the children, in each of the cars. Students come to you with knowledge of division because they understand sharing, and that's kind of what they're doing. We're trying to share those kids equally within those 12 cars. So then we can talk about 12 was separated into 4 equal groups of 3, or 12 separated into 4 equal groups equals 3 in each group, and the students can fill in. You can provide these number or sentence stems or frames in order to help the students do that description of their contextual situation. So that's partitive division. The students also, we want to make sure that we have quotative division as well. And students don't have to know partitive or quotative division. John has 20 balloons, so we know that we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. He has 20 balloons. He gives 4 balloons to each friend at his party. How many friends are at the party? So in this instance, the students are going to give 4, and we're going to keep putting them in each set of 4 to figure out how many friends are at the party. So now that I see the different groups, because that's what I'm creating, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again, I can provide a sentence frame or a sentence stem. 20 separated into groups of 4 equals 5 groups that we would have this written back here. Okay. We also will have the students create multiplication and division scenarios. So we would provide the students either with a picture, and so we might give them something that looks like this, and they have to create a multiplication or a division scenario. So for multiplication, they might say that there were 4 students in the classroom, each had 2 pencils. How many pencils did the students have? And they could then count in order to find that answer. Or we could talk about there were 8 flowers. We gave 2 flowers to each teacher. How many teachers were there? And then we could use the same scenario or the same picture in order to solve that. If you have any questions about multiplication or division, let us know.